Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another exciting episode of the Wrestling Fast Podcast, Ringside Society. I'm your host, that ocean crossing, straight up bossing, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always positive, life is great, repping 592, living in the 718, no cap, straight facts, the worldwide star boy, Remy Blue. And our special guest tonight is a young lady who actually wears two hats, maybe three. She's going to confirm that. She may or may not confirm that based on what we saw on Instagram. But our special guest is a woman who is HBCU made. That's right. That means that for those of you that don't know what HBCU means, that means historical black college slash university that has actually had greats such as Martin Luther King and many other people graduate from these universities. And right now, not only is she a ring announcer, as a matter of fact, she's actually ring announced for the Nightmare Factory, which is actually ran by Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall. But she's also a promotion owner. That's right, she is the owner of Let Wrestling Live.
What's up? I love the intro. Oh, you're going in and out. I don't know if you can hear me, but you're kind of going in and out. It got froze on my end. Let me see.
Oh man, I'm sorry. We
Okay,
got we had some difficulty here. Yeah, how are you doing tonight?
I'm great. How about you?
Great, great. We're very excited to have you on here. I'm just sorry that my two other co-hosts, Rob Bates and Kathy Knight, couldn't be here, but either way, we're very glad to have you. We're always you know anxious. We're so excited when we get to have guests of different spectrums of professional wrestling, whether it's the wrestlers, the managers, promoters like yourself, and even ring announcers like yourself. We're always excited because we like to give our viewers, our listeners, stories from each angle of what I like to call the wheel of professional wrestling. So yeah, thank you for actually doing this. And it's funny because I was watching the Nightmare Factory showcase 3, no, showcase 4 on YouTube, and I was like, who's that ring announcer? Who is she? And it wasn't anything like, yo, she bad, I gotta holler at her. It was like, who is she? Like, I want to know what that person's story is. And if it's any consolation, I did the same thing with Paul Espinal, the referee over there. I did the same thing with Luis Santiago. Actually, when I was doing Paul, I was like, okay, Paul, who are the other two referees there? And he gave me their names, and I had them on the show. Well, I had one of them on the show. The other one I couldn't get a hold of. But yeah, and that's how we are. We interview everybody, man. I mean,
I love that.
because like I said, I look at it this way: if we would interview Lillian Garcia, JoJo, Mike McGurk, who is she used to ring announce for WWE back in the early '90s. Justin Roberts, Dave Penzer, all those great people. Howard. Oh, and can't forget Howard Finkel. Why not Nadiah Hunter? If we would interview Vince McMahon or Scott Demore, who runs Impact, or Tony Khan, why not Nadiah Hunter? And a sister at that too, that's actually owning a promotion.
I love that.
So before we get into the greatness that is Nadiah Hunter, I gotta ask you, man, how'd you become a fan of pro wrestling? Like, how did it start for you? What was the match you saw, or the main event you saw, or the pay per view that you saw that got you hooked?
Okay, so how I became a fan. This is actually really crazy. Well, it's not really crazy, but um, my mom she loved wrestling, and my cousins love wrestling. And my cousin, she was like a really like diehard wrestling fan, and so was her family, and so she kind of got me into it. And it's funny because the actual first episode that I watched was the segment where Triple H and Shawn Michaels were making fun of Vince. And I was kind of like a kid at the time when I saw that segment, and I was like, oh, this is kind of funny. And from there on, I was just kind of like, oh, this is cool. I like this, and I became a diehard fan.
Okay, so that was like what, the mid 2000s, like the ruthless aggression era.
Yeah. Hmm.
You joined, you became a fan at a good time because I remembered, I was watching that, and to me, like, we got to see. I always consider that what Sean and Triple H would have been had Sean not gotten injured back in 1998, because I obviously know that there was DX before that time, and it started with, to me it started with Sean, China, Triple H, and Ravishing Rick Rude, because Rick Rude was with them too from the beginning. And it started in, like, I'd say October of '97 or September of '97, and then Sean got injured at the following WrestleMania, at the WrestleMania the following year, WrestleMania 14. So we didn't really get to see, in my opinion, we didn't get to see a lot that they could have given us during that time due to Sean's injury. So yeah, that was a fun time. I remember seeing that, and me and my friend, we were in our early 20s at the time, and we were like, just we would emulate those guys. We kind of act like them sometimes. I mean, granted, we were grown already, but we were like, and it was coincidental that our mindsets back then were kind of like theirs, like just two guys having fun. We're young and just partying and going around acting all crazy. And yeah, that was a fun time to actually start watching. So,
Yeah.
growing, who are some of your favorites that you enjoyed seeing,
Like currently when I was growing up.
like growing up?
It was Randy Orton. It was John Morrison, Melina. Um, I mean, I think those were the main ones that I really stuck to. I was a Cody fan as well.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So everything came full circle for you, because now you were a Cody fan, and now you're doing ring announcing at Cody's school for his showcases.
Yeah,
That's
it's really crazy.
I'm gonna,
It's really crazy.
I'm gonna ask you about that later on, though. I'm gonna ask you about it. We enjoy. I don't know if you've been tracking us, but we've had a habit of actually, for some reason, interviewing everybody from Nightmare Factory. So yeah, I'll ask you about that in a minute. But yeah, so did you ever get to meet any? I mean, obviously you met Cody, but did you ever get to meet any of those that you grew up watching, like, in person, like John Morrison, um,
Um,
Randy, any of them?
so it's actually really, really funny because I've actually been trying to meet Morrison for the absolute longest, like even since I've been in wrestling. And
Right.
anytime like I'm supposed to be in the same area as him, like he's not there, or when I'm supposed to he's supposed to be over here and I'm supposed to be there, I'm just not there. So it just hasn't lined up. And that's like the main person I want to meet right now. So one day, one day.
Okay. Yeah, all in due time. I've gotten to meet him. I've gotten to meet him once before. Very cool guy. I actually took a picture of him like 9 years ago,
Oh,
and
that's
I always felt that I'm glad in a sense, I'm glad he's got to show us what he could do outside of WWE.
mm-hmm.
The Marty Jannetty of the tag team definitely showed us why he's the Marty Jannetty of the tag team, because he went on to win the AAA and the Impact Wrestling and Lucha Underground, title. I mean, the whole Marty Jannetty thing, I mean that with sarcasm, because we all know Morrison's the more athletic one of that tag team. Miz can say what he wants. He's great on the mic, but let's be honest. Now, be honest with me. Could you see Miz holding the big title in AAA or Lucha
Hey,
Underground?
listen.
I mean, no, don't let me put you on the spot, 'cause you're part of the business. But I'm saying, I could say that. I'm a podcaster. I could say I can't see Miz. I could see Miz going to AAA and getting chased out of the ring by Psycho Clown with the slapjack. I could see Miz going to I could see Miz going to Lucha Underground and getting his arm broken by Pentagon Zero. Miz couldn't. Miz is made for WWE and Impact and AEW. Certain promotions he's just not made for. I'm sorry. I said what I said. He's
I
a
mean,
great guy.
every wrestler has an audience that they will be able to cater to, and you can't technically cater to everybody.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, he's done it for himself in WWE, but it just got me. I was like, Mario Jannetty, really? I mean, Mario Jannetty's not a bad thing either. I mean, you know, anybody that knows Mario Jannetty knows that he was a great wrestler. I mean, he is a great wrestler. He's still wrestling, but just that personal matters kept him from being the best he could be. But that's neither here nor there.
What I will say though is I did get to meet Melina. That was on my checklist. I actually did get to meet Melina.
Oh, awesome! What was that like?
I met her twice now. The first time I met her is when I first started actually training for wrestling, and it was absolutely beautiful. Like the interaction that I pretty much wanted with her. She was so sweet, and I was just genuinely asking her advice about training and just understanding storytelling and stuff like that. And she loved that I came to her and just asked her for advice. So it was a very beautiful interaction.
Well, it's always a great feeling when you meet those that you grew up watching. Um, Margin, like I said, I felt the same way with Marty Jannetty, him being one half of my first favorite tag team, the Rockers. When I got to that venue, he was the first person I took a picture with. I didn't. Anybody else came after, but I just had to get a picture with Marty. And it's always a great feeling, like seeing these men and women that you used to see like back in the day. Like now you see them, and you get to meet them and talk to them, and even thank them for doing what they've done as well. So now you're a fan and everything. You decided to do what not many fans do, and that's actually become a part of the business. And how did your journey go from Nadiah Hunter, the pro wrestling fan, to Nadiah Hunter, the ring announcer, and also promotion owner of owner of Let Wrestling Live.
Oh Lord, it's gonna be a good story. Some people are gonna be mad about this, but hey, we're, we're gonna take it.
It's your spot. It's your spotlight. It's your time. I'm just chilling.
So one of my friends from high school, she contacted me and said, "Hey, there's this guy at my church. Um, he's a pro wrestler and he's a champion at his company. I gave him your information. He's gonna get in contact with you and whatever." And it ended up being Cam Carter. And we talked a little bit, and he was like, "Hey, you should come train with me at Firestar. We'll get you right and everything." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So 2 years of us communicating, trying to like get me over there because I had transportation issues at the time to get me over there. I finally got over there, and I started training with Cam Carter, OMG James Ryan, and LeBron Cozone. I trained there for a good bit, and I ended up getting injured. Well, not really injured. I got too many concussions, and it was just safety protocol for Cozone. He wanted me to sit out for a little bit because it was just back to back to back. It was weeks at a time. So he just was like, "Hey, we don't want you to actually end up seriously getting hurt. Just chill out for like 3 months." Okay. I sat out for 3 months, but I wanted to try out ring announcing because I was a sportscaster at my university. So I felt
Okay.
like I would have been good at it. Um, I ring announced a women's match at Firestar, and so happenly there was a promoter in the crowd who apparently I caught their eye, and it was like, "Hey, listen, I want you to announce at my promotion." And that was Michael Butler, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, I would love to." So he started bringing me in for his promotion, and from then on, I actually just started making connections, and other people heard my voice, and I started traveling. Um, and I think I really started to pick up bookings once I started ringing out sing for School of Morton, because School of Morton was open door policy. If you walked in, you got an opportunity type of situation. So I met so many people at School of Morton and made so many connections that my bookings kind of went up, and I was traveling a whole lot. Um, what happened in between me traveling and ring announcing and in my promotion, in wrestling, there's a lot of politicking that is going on, and politicking can really kill wrestling. Um, and I know many people wouldn't want me to say this, but I believe North Carolina wrestling can be very cliquish, and we're not open to most wrestlers. So I wanted to create a promotion that is based off of diversity and opportunities. A place where pretty much the drama, the politicking, whether I like you or not, if you're coming to help someone else out in this industry, I will pretty much book you as long as you take this as seriously as everybody else in the locker room. And that's pretty much where it came from. Yeah, it was just a lot of politicking, a lot of drama, a lot of stuff, and I was just like, I just want to create a safe space at this point.
That's awesome. That's definitely a great thing that you're doing. I never really looked at. So I mean, I've heard of certain promotions only messing with certain people. I can't speak too much on it because I'm just that fan that goes, enjoys the show, and then afterwards hand out a few business cards. Say, hey, I run this podcast, Ringside Society. I'd like to have you on if you're interested, and then I go home. I pretty much call myself that fan that I gotta stop quoting The Rock. Knows his role and shuts his mouth. You know what I mean? I'm over here. I'm just over here. I don't want no smoke. I'm just a fan. But
I you know I understand. It's just that I it's nothing wrong with having a group of people like I'm sticking to this group. I want to use them. The issue for me is that when we have workers who have been working for years, but they only been wrestling the same amount of people. So they don't get those outside connections that they need to go to other promotions outside of North Carolina or, just networking in general. So there's nothing wrong with having like your clique, but the growth there is going to be so small because you're only learning what's inside of your group.
right, right. And it's always good to be flexible when it comes to like being booked and so on because you never know. I see where you're getting at. You never know. I mean, somebody might that one promotion you don't want to work, or you might work with one day, and then you might have somebody in the crowd the same way. Michael Butler was seeing you, and they're like, "Yo, I like how Joe Schmo did that match the other day, or how Mary what's her name was dealing with her opponent. I want to put that person on my promotion. That promotion might have a TV deal. TV
Exactly.
deal might be you might get and nowadays days, even though there's promotions that have TV deals and they're only regional, like they're only local to and those they only reach like their local audience. The power of YouTube, the power of fight. You never know who could be watching. I've
Exactly.
I've seen promotion. I've been watching promotions when I was stationed in Japan that were in Oregon, the West Coast Wrestling Connection, that were in Colorado, that were in Florida, and I was over in a whole other country. So you never know who's watching. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's a great thing that you're doing. So how many shows has Let Wrestling Live had since its creation?
So we actually officially became a business in April, and we had our first show in July, and our that's the only show that we've had so far. But our second show is going to be in November.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we'll definitely make sure we promote it for you because we here at Ringside Society, we want to be more than just a podcast. We also want to let fans know what's in their area, you know. So let's say if you're in like, you know, North Carolina, Greensboro, or what's going on in Greensboro? Or Golds, is it Greensboro that it's called, right? What's
Green.
going on in Greensboro? Oh snap, they got a promotion up the road from us. Oh wait, I'm in Raleigh for the weekend. Wait, there's a promotion, right? There's a promotion here that has a show. I'm gonna check it out. You never know. So yeah, we'll definitely make sure we share that second show. For those of y'all listening, if y'all are in Carolina, make sure you check out Let Wrestling Live. You know, I wish I was in North Carolina right now. I was in Jacksonville for like 2 years. and I didn't go to any show there at all. Like I didn't know where to go, and it wasn't until I left Jacksonville that they had a show right there in Jacksonville with, and some of the people that were on it were people that I knew. So I was like, you guys came like a year late, man. If y'all were there last year, I definitely would have been there. And I was almost close to seeing another one. I forgot. It was a small town, and I went there and booked my hotel and everything. And lo and behold, the show got canceled.
Mm.
So I was like stuck in a small town, at a motel. Not really much to do except for that wrestling show. I was like, I guess I'll just chill here for a bit, you know. Yeah. So you actually tried out to be a wrestler. How was that? Because I saw a video of you like in the ring and everything, mixing it up. And that's the third thing I was going to ask you. That was the third hat. I wanted you to confirm because I saw Nadiah Hunter in there, like in the ring. She was in that attack position. I was like, okay, we might have I guess call her Mr. McMahon, sort of. So yeah, tell us about that, man.
Yeah, so like I said, I started off wrestling before I was ring announcing or doing promoting. Like I said, I caught 3 concussions back to back to back. um it sat me out for a bit. I started focusing elsewhere. I will say, while I was traveling, I was training just about every day. If not, I'll say about 5 days out of the week, especially during COVID when everything was shut down. I was at the training center almost every day, training. Um, for the most part, I do not take bookings because I know there's stuff that I still want to work on, and I like presenting myself appropriately. Um, so what you saw was a battle royal that I was in. My trainer was like, "Hey, why not?" And I was like, "You know what? Why not? We're gonna do this." And I did it. I've had maybe I'm trying to think about how many matches I've had. I've had one singles match, one tag team. I did a bunkhouse stampede, and I did the rumble. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That rumble must have been that rumble must have been fun, man. Like all those people in the ring.
It was. It was my first. It was a little scary, but I got through it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool that you got to do that. I if I always thought that a rumble must have been fun though, man. I mean, granted, you got to keep your eye and know when it's your time. Um, know what you're doing and so on. But yeah, those seem like fun though. They definitely seem like fun. Yeah. So do you ever think you'll ever go back in the ring and as a wrestler, or is it like nah, not happening?
Definitely. I think I definitely will go back to the rings. Definitely, since I've been very limited with my ring announcer bookings.
Hmm.
Lately, I kind of stick to like 3 or 4 promotions and keep my focus there. Um, so that kind of leaves me room to wrestle if I want to, but I wouldn't say on a big level. I wouldn't say on.
Okay. I'm watching you, Miss Hunter. Next thing you know, I might see you at a Nightmare Factory showcase 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, and then you're gonna be
I
like,
honestly hope for that one day. I really do. I wish to attend the Nightmare Factory.
yeah. Next thing you know, I'll see you introducing your opponent, introducing the female out there, and next thing you know, you'll be like, and her opponent is me, and then you take off your jacket, or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be a good moment though if that happened though. That'd be like that would definitely be a. So the thing about the Nightmare Factory I've noticed is that there's always a moment that I remember from each one. If you were to say, what was your favorite moment from like Showcase One? It'd be like when Brooke Havoc and Katie Spencer came out in that car, through the curtains. What was your favorite one for Showcase 3? When the Mountain Mama actually eliminated a guy Mountain Mama Jess Barnes eliminated a guy out of that battle royal, or when Parker Lee put the Canadian destroyer Raiden in a Canadian destroyer and beat him with that move.
Hmm.
So there's always something from each showcase that I remember. Yeah. So what was it like? What was it like? Ring announcing for you know one of your favorites promotion, one of your favorite wrestlers, training schools.
It was absolutely crazy. I remember the first showcase I did. I was so very nervous. Like I was probably, if you look back at the video, I was probably physically shaking.
That
I
was
was,
showcase. That was showcase 4, right?
yeah, that sounds about right. Showcase 4. I was probably visibly shaking. Um, I I didn't know if Cody was there or not that day, and because I didn't see him the whole time that I was there, and
Mm.
I was sitting in my chair, and it was me and it was the broadcasters, and I was about to start the show off, and then I noticed like the curtain moved behind me or whatever, and it was like a little peep, and I looked behind me, and it was a guy who was like in a hoodie. He was like, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And I was like, oh wow, Cody is here and he's right behind me. This is great right before I get on, and I'm like super nervous. So it was crazy, but it was a blessing at the same time.
Yeah, that must have been like you must have been nervous, like Cody's here. I don't want to mess up and whatnot.
Oh yeah, I was so nervous about messing up, and I will tell you that showcase went so smooth. Like I don't know what it was. I think because my nerves were so tore up, I was just like, I have to get this perfectly done. That it actually ended up going perfect.
Yeah, to me, you did very good. You did very good, and I was like, when I saw you, like I said, when I saw you, I was like, she's doing so good. I gotta find out who this young lady is and get her on the show. I hope she doesn't get too famous. For me to get, because they got some people when they hit a certain amount of followers, they don't check their DMs for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm glad I'm
I
glad
stay
you did,
humble. I stay humble.
and uh, you're definitely gonna go far. Just staying humble and whatnot. I wish the best for you. And I
Yeah.
was like, she's doing good. I gotta get her on this show. And I haven't had a ring announcer on in a while. Like I haven't had, and we've had ring announcers before. We've had one by the name of Miranda. I forgot her last name. Miranda, please don't kill me. But she's over on the West Coast. We've had um, Ringside Rain, who actually announced for
Yeah.
SummerSlam,
Yeah.
and we actually she actually announces over in the West Coast as well too. And 'cause I always say ring announcers have a part to play. They're important because they let us know who we're seeing. If not, if it wasn't for them, we would just be seeing two guys or two girls just battling out in the ring. We wouldn't know who's who from what town and what city and whatnot. So
Hmm.
yeah, we were like, yeah, definitely, yeah, we definitely have to get you on here. And I was asking people around, I was like, does anybody? As a matter of fact, we actually had a whole video. You were on our store. We had a story of you announcing, and we were like, who is this woman? We want to have her on our show. And the bodyguard Austin Green was the one that hit us up and was like, yeah, that's Nadiah Hunter. I'm like, so shout out to Austin Green. We
I love
appreciate you.
Austin so much. I should have wore his shirt because I have it. Love Austin.
Yeah, I told Austin one time, he's a bouncer and whatnot. I'm like, man, if I ever saw you in the club and I'm about to get thrown out, I'm like, look, man, I'll just throw myself out, yo. I throw myself. I'll just run for the door and just jump out. That guy. Yeah, but really cool guy though. Yeah, so will we be seeing you in Nightmare Factory more often, or you don't know?
I believe so. I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so. I mean, from what I know, I've been doing my job good so far. So I hope they continue to bring me back.
I definitely hope they do too, man. That's a great thing. And the fact that you're an educated person and from an HBCU, that's I don't think I've ever seen that in professional wrestling. At least on the ring announcer side, I've never seen that. I think they may have been some people from that have been to HBCU that wrestling and whatnot, but I've never
Mhm.
seen a ring announcer do that. So yeah, man, they should
I hope
definitely
it's
keep
the
you, man.
first. Maybe that's the accolade I could have. The first HBCU ring announcer.
Yeah. So let's talk about let's so let wrestling live. LWL, I guess we'll call it. I don't know if
Yeah.
you go by letters now, but where do you see LWL going in like 5 years? Do you see it going like staying in North Carolina? Do you see it eventually going to places like South Carolina, which isn't too far, or Georgia, or do you
Um,
see it staying just going to, or do you see it going like different cities like Charlotte, Raleigh, Jacksonville, what's the other one, Wilmington? Do you see it going to those places?
um, I will say I do not see us going out of state unless it's just like highly requested. Um, if it's highly requested, I don't mind traveling. Doing a traveling show is just really expensive to do traveling shows.
Yeah.
Um, I can
But
definitely say
if they
that.
cover if they cover it though, if they cover those expenses, would you
Yeah,
be down?
yeah, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. I also done event planning before I was doing wrestling, so it's like I know the gains and the losses from doing traveling events. Um, I can definitely say traveling in North Carolina. Yeah, I would definitely do that because I know that we have fans now from different parts of North Carolina, and I would like to cater to that audience as well. Um, but like I said, I would prefer to stay in North Carolina because I know this is where we need it the most. This is where the people that I work with, that my friends who need those opportunities, like they're here. So I want to bring those opportunities to them.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
that's very cool that you're doing that. Like I wish y'all nothing but the best, and hopefully when I go to North Carolina, I can definitely catch a show and uh, see what's going on. So who are some people that are on these that are on that we're going to be seeing on the next any preview? Maybe one or two.
Okay. You will see JTG.
Okay,
Uh,
okay. Money. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, you will see JTG. You will see Mr. Spectacular, Jesse Goddard.
Okay. Are you really flexing? All right. Okay, I see it.
And I think some people kind of knew those, so I'll do one more, and you will see Miss Casey Lennox as well.
Ooh, straight out of Florida,
Yeah, straight out of
man.
Florida.
I'm very happy for her growth. I haven't had her on the show. Hopefully one day, I can get her on here. But I remember when she was just like a fan, and she was like she trained before. I knew about her in 2014, right before I left for the Navy. That's when I found out about her. Like my friend Jennifer took a picture of her, and she was like, "Yeah, that's a fan." And she gave me her shoot name, but I'm not gonna say what her shoot name is. That's how much respect I have as a fan. I'm not gonna say her shoot name. But she said, "Yeah, that's my friend, such and such." She wasn't going by Kate, and I was like, "Okay." And even and Casey, if you see this, I mean, 100% respect to you. Like 100% respect intended. Nothing, no pettiness, nothing at all. But I saw her, and I followed her on social media. Went to the military, came back. She was still around, and I remembered I saw her. It was the next year, 2015. I said that's when the whole tough enough thing, where everybody and their cousin were sending in videos about why they should be, chosen to be part of Tough Enough. And there were two women that I actually saw. One was Amber Nova, the other one was Casey Lennox. And I told both of them, I was like, I didn't tell them all at the same time in the same chat, but I told them in separate chats, keep pushing. Whether WB accepts you or not, let this be the start of your career. I remember telling both of them that. They were the only two people I told that to. And I'm glad they kept on keeping on.
Mm-hmm.
And in my eyes, they've been pretty successful in what they've been doing. I haven't got to meet Casey in person, but I got to meet Amber Nova before, and I'm glad. I really hope they get to the point where one of these promotions like AEW or WWE or even Impact or Wow, you
Mhm.
know, hire them and give them a chance. 'Cause I like to see people work hard and get rewarded for it. I love to see that. But wow, Casey Lennox, that's awesome, man. Where's the show gonna be at? What part of North Carolina?
I right now is to be announced. We had a location. We do have the location though, but I want to wait to drop it.
I'm gonna stop reaching. I'm gonna be over here now. My hands
I'm
over here.
waiting.
Yeah,
But it's
but
it's a it's a very it's a very lit place. I will say that it's in a different city than Greensboro.
okay.
So we
We'll
already
be looking. We'll be looking for that poster. We'll definitely let the masses know. Hey, if you're not doing anything on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, whichever one of those days you got it on, check out. Let wrestling live. You'll see people like Mr. Spectacular and JTG and Casey Lennox and many others and so on. We'll definitely let the masses know, man. We'll let them know. So with the whole ring announcing thing and being a
Mhm,
promoter, let's say if you had somebody that wanted to become a part of the wrestling industry as one of those roles,
mhm.
what advice would you give them for being a promoter, or what advice would you give? So I guess like a two-part question. What would you give them if they want to be a promoter, and what advice would you give them if they wanted to be a ring announcer?
I you know I get this question a lot. Um,
Oh,
I would typically say like practice and stuff. I'm gonna say start off wrestling. That's what I'm gonna tell anybody. If you want to be a part of this business, start off wrestling because you need to understand what kind of business that you're going into. You need to understand the hard work that needs to be put in, the determination, the motivation, the traveling, the expenses, the come up before you start branching out. Because once you start branching out into being a promoter in other places, um, there's going to be people who are going to kind of try you in a sense of well, what have you done? You kind of just got here in a situation, and for me personally, I respect the fact that I started off wrestling and then I maneuvered in other places because now I understand how, from a wrestling point of view, how I view promoters or talent backstage. But now that I'm in that role, I can understand from a wrestler point of view if a situation was to ever to occur of how they felt because I've been in that position before. It's more of a empathy kind of situation. So I say for anybody who wants to be a part of the business, which is, I mean, any sort of form, take some bumps, learn something, conditioning, understand it from a wrestling point of view before you start branching out.
okay, awesome. Yeah, so I always thought about it. I said if I ever had like a serious lump sum of money, like a nice chunk, like I'm talking like I know this is wishful thinking. Let's say half a mil. I would like if I had a $500,000, I'd probably do like one or two shows, like run them. But then I'm like, you got people that might be saying, "Well, I'm worth this much," and they might say because you know what people call a money mark, like
Mhm.
you pretty much pay them whatever they want, and they may see you as you're being new to the business, so you don't know much, so they'll just call out a price.
Mhm.
And you might, especially if you want to get the bigger stars, they'll be like, "Yeah, I wrestled for this. I'm worth like 10,000 for an appearance," and just throwing out a
Oh
figure
yeah.
there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then
Definitely.
of course you got, and you're the first person I'm going to tell. And I'm not, for those of you listening or watching, I'm not being salty at all. But I'm you- I'm sure you've seen it, and I'm not gonna put you on the spot. That one or two persons like, well, I was on AEW Dark. I'm worth this much. I want like $2,000 for my appearance. You know, and I kid you not, I've seen that on. I'm not putting you on the spot. I don't expect you
Uh
to answer
huh.
this.
Uh huh.
I, as a fan, saw that on Facebook, somebody mentioned it. It was a wrestler that meant it was a promoter and a wrestler that mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself, I saw this coming. Somebody's gonna get in their head and say, I want to be paid a big chunk of money because I was on AW Dark. I'm not signed or anything, but I did a couple. I did 2 or 3 matches. You know, I'm big money now. I can't. You know, I can't job nobody.
Mm-hmm.
I can't lose nobody. So
Okay. What I will say to that extent, because I've been on both ends, right? So if you're booking the person, right,
right,
and you are putting next to their name, seen on AEW Dark, and you will not pay the booking fee that they asked, that's where the issue comes in. That's where the issue comes in. Because I will say for myself, when I did the SummerSlam ring announcer competition, I was one of the finalists for that competition.
okay,
So,
wow,
so when that was known after the competition had happened, there was people wanting to book me, but they wanted to put WWE next to my name. If you're going to put WWE next to my name, I'm going to need a little bit more extra than what I usually charge. Because now at this point, you are using me as an attraction point.
right.
Typically, your wrestlers are your attraction point, but now you're using me as an attraction point for your company. So I'm not like gonna screw somebody over and be like, oh, give me 1,000 or something. But if you know that I'm traveling from far distance and you're not in my state, that's where we come across that. So if it was just like, oh yeah, I'm just trying to book you regular, just Nadiah Hunter's gonna be here, cool. But if you're gonna be like, oh, WWE TikTok finalist, this, and this, because
Oh,
now
okay.
you're getting extra income just off of the fact that you just put WWE next to my name, and I'm not getting any of that.
Oh, okay, okay. Wow.
So
So I guess the key would be to not hype it up so much. Then you know what, I'm I'm gonna leave that
that's
alone.
what the
I
catch.
feel
That's
like
what the catch comes
I feel
in.
like
But that's what, go ahead.
I feel like I've opened up a can of worms, and like I said, I'm not a fan that treads lightly. Like I just stay a fan. That's it. I just
No, but I'm saying that's why it's good to do the wrestling and like they're promoting at the same time, because now I can see from both standpoints of a wrestler saying, hey, you're gonna have to give me extra money, because if you just post a poster with AEW Dark on it, then guess what? I'm bringing in more money than what you would typically bring in for a regular show. So,
yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. You're right.
but
But
I see from both standpoints. It's just pay, be a good promoter, be a good wrestler. That's my opinion on
yeah,
that.
I always wonder, like I'd probably be that guy that would get hit with, yeah, I deserve this much and da, 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 and because and this time I don't even like know the person. So I did just like you know bringing it up like, yeah, why justifying why they should. I mean, I'm not knocking their hustle, but yeah, it's I like I said, I I've never been a promoter before. I don't know anybody that's a close friend that's a promoter, but I have a pretty good idea of what y'all go through. And like I said, I commend y'all because y'all go through it, one, because it's your passion, and two, you want to put on the show for the fans, and three, you also want to do something for your community as well that doesn't get shows a lot, you know. So yeah, to me, from what the idea I have, it's a tough game.
Oh, definitely, without a doubt, without a doubt. I say that from all aspects of wrestling. If you're being a wrestler, if you're being a ring announcer, a broadcaster, it's just like what you do, what you show to the public. And I learned this from Evilise. Just like the wrestling is the 10%, the ring announcing is the 10%, the broadcasting that's the 10%, the 90% is the business that you're gonna have to deal with once you're out of that ring, once you're off of that commentary table.
You said Eva Lisa as in La Sicaria?
Yes.
What?
Yes, because
Man,
I've asked her for advice as well, and when she told me, "Hey, listen, anybody can learn how to wrestle, but you gotta really know how to do business to get where you need to be." And I really took that.
that's awesome. That's great. So being a promoter, and who would you say? Do you have any inspirations that like Vince McMahon, Tony Khan? They said one of the greatest promoters ever in anything was P.T. Barnum of Barnum and Billy Circus. Is there anybody that inspires you, like on that business side of things?
Um, Honestly, you know what? I will say one person, and I mentioned this, and I think I mentioned this before, and I will say Ricky Morton, and I say that because of his open door policy, and I don't think people really understand how much that open door policy really helped everybody, and that he was involved in everything that was going on with the matches, the storytelling, the fact that anybody could walk in, or he would go to a show and invite everybody to School of Morton this upcoming Sunday, and I would walk in and there was all these people from different places who flew from California, stuff like that. But like I said, for me personally, him doing that brought more opportunities for me, and I want to do the same thing with what I got going on. So I would say that he's an inspirational promoter.
That's cool, man. Ricky Morton definitely to me. I heard he's been very helpful in the business and so on. I know the Rock and Roll Express, they've inspired a lot of tag teams, and they've had a couple of classic matches themselves. That's awesome that you actually got inspiration from from such a legend, in the game. Yeah. And another thing that's unique about North Carolina is that y'all are the only state that has two black women that own promotions. Because there's you
And Suzette.
and Suzette Victoria,
Yeah,
who runs Hit Club Pro.
yeah.
You know, Suzette, if you're listening, we're still waiting for you to let us know what's up. You know, I'm just kidding, man. Let me stop. But yeah, man, that's impressive that you got two black women that own promotions in North Carolina. That is unique. That's y'all the only two that I know do that too. And like I said, I'm not a racist dude, but I love to see I like to see my fellow man, my fellow man, or like my fellow, black man, or my sister, doing, you know, big things in professional wrestling, not just on the wrestling side, but the business side. There's Suzette. I don't know if you know, but there's also CCW, Capital Championship Wrestling, which is up in
Yes.
Delaware. It's ran by a black man, Marcello,
Mhm.
former pro wrestler, um, really cool dude. And I like the way things are going for the black community in pro wrestling, because 10 years ago this wasn't really it. We didn't have a lot going on. 15 years ago we didn't really have a lot going on, but now you got not just black people owning promotions, but you got us throwing culturally black themed events, like Black Wrestlers Matter. There was a Black Wrestle Fest. There was one over in there was just Black Girl Magic
Yep.
this weekend,
We
which
sponsored we sponsored Black Girl Magic. Karen Bam Bam.
yeah, man, I wish I could have gone to that, but I had work that day, so I was like, that wasn't happening.
I had
So
worked the next day and it's so far. It was so far.
yeah, but yeah, it was a great show from what I saw. I wish I could have been there. Hopefully, I could be there for the next one. But I was there for Black Wrestle Fest. That was awesome, very informative, and there were certain things I just didn't know about, like for the whole thing with sneakers. That a guy talking about the different kinds of sneakers that wrestlers wore in the ring
Hmm.
and all that, and how the Young Bucks wearing the Jordans was not. They weren't the first tag team to do it. There was a tag team called the Killer Bees back in
Hmm.
the '80s that did that, and I wasn't even aware of that. So it was a great event too as well. Yeah. So I just gotta say, Nadia, it was really great having you on the show. It was a pleasure to have the owner of Let Wrestling Live, on here with us, and I wish you nothing but the best And I kid you not, if I'm ever in North Carolina and I'm in the same city as LW, I will definitely be attending that show. To see some of North Carolina's best ballad out. Before we shut this down, where can fans find you on social media when they want to find out when the next LWL event is, purchase Let Wrestling Live or Nadiah Hunter merchandise, whenever it comes to wrestling, and where can
Um,
bookers and promoters find you as well?
Okay. All of my social media is just Nadiah Hunter. If you just type in my name, sorry, I'm kind of looking at my social media right here. Um, if you just type in my name, Nadiah Hunter, you can find me up there. I'm on everything. Go to prowrestlingtees.com, type in Nadiah Hunter. My shop is up there. We are Let Wrestling Live on all social media platforms. Facebook is Let Wrestling Live NC, and I believe Twitter is Let Wrestling LV. But you can also visit our website. Our website has our staff up there, our entire roster, and then our upcoming events, seminars, and training sessions. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much. Oh my goodness, you're lagging. Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I will drop the YouTube channel because we did just drop a match the other day. It was Chad Skywalker versus SoFly Manny Low. You can catch that on YouTube as well if you type in Let Wrestling Live and subscribe to the channel. Our goal is 100. You can watch that match as well, and some more matches will
Awesome.
be dropped soon.
I might have to look at that roster and see who the referees. I beg your pardon?
Oh, okay. I see you over here.
Yeah, I had to go on my
Oh, okay. I see you over here.
I had to go on my phone. Stuff was getting crazy, and yeah, it's that's why I rather do this on my phone because it's so much better, so much smoother and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely um wish you the best and everything. And we have somebody that's saying some stuff here. Let's see what they have to say. Says a business if they use her name with the be in front of her, she wants to get to it. What if a middle school want her to do? So this person's asking, you said it's a business,
Hmm.
and if they use your if they use your if they use your name with double B, if they use your name with double B, you want to get paid for that. But what if a middle school wants you to do a speaking engagement? How do you determine your fee when the school isn't making money off of your appearance?
Me, and I can only speak for me personally, because maybe other wrestlers feel a type of way. I'm not going to charge for a speaking engagement, and I don't say that because I feel like like I'm on the indies and this, and this. No, because I believe that my voice can affect other people, right? And sometimes some people just need to hear that. So I'm not going to sit there and charge for knowledge. I'm sorry. I'm just not at this point in time. um I mean, other people may feel different because they've been in other places and they feel like this, but like I said in the beginning of this interview, my goal is to help people. So if you want to say, oh, WWE TikTok finalists, and I want me to speak to some kids, like I'm going to go and speak to them. I'm not going to charge a school for wanting their students to succeed and see, a black woman who's already, going to great heights, that's successful, to speak to them. I wouldn't do that. But like I said, that's me. Maybe other people feel different about that, but that's me.
Yeah, that's cool. So like I said, if I'm ever in North Carolina, I will definitely check out Let Wrestling Live, check out y'all's events. and see some of North Carolina's best, duke it out in the ring and all that. And I just gotta say, I may. I mean, I'm actually we do have a tendency to actually, like I said, interview referees and ring announcers as well too. So you might see one of your referees on our show. You never know.
Okay.
Yeah, because hey, referees are they're an important part of the wrestling world too. And they're the ones that call the match and make sure everything's in order. So yeah,
Oh yeah, definitely. I actually want to try refereeing just a little bit, just a little bit. I'm not gonna add a whole nother hat, but I just want to try it a little bit.
yeah. Actually, we're coming out with a shirt that's dedicated to the referees. They may like it, they may not like it. Um, it's not intended to be controversial, but we'll see. We're probably gonna drop it like probably either tonight or pretty much like before the week is over. We're gonna drop it. So yeah, referees are definitely an important part of, and that's the thing that gets me to like when promotions don't acknowledge like who's in the ring, like refereeing. It's like who are we seeing? Who's the referee? We'd like to know. That's just me. I like to know who I'm seeing in the ring. So yeah, with that being said, Nadia, thank you once again. I'm not gonna hold you up anymore. I know you got
Thank you for having me.
it was our pleasure. Thank you for giving us the opportunity. But with that being said, it's about time for us to shut this show down. My eyelids are getting heavy, and yeah, it's kind of past my bedtime. But before I head off to dreamland, if y'all want to follow me on social media, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Remy Blue. You can also find me on Facebook under the Remy Blue. I don't normally have a lot of cool stuff to say, but who knows? Maybe you'll get lucky and see me say something cool. But our podcast is also on social media. We're on Twitch at Ringside Society 2019, Twitter and Instagram at Ringside Society. We're also on Facebook as a Facebook group. Just type in Ringside Society, you'll see us there. And we're also on Spotify, and we also have a YouTube channel where you can see a lot of cool interviews like this one, like the one we had with DeMarcio James yesterday, and also Francis Coage, Bad News Brown's daughter, who and that was our first Lariats and Legacies episode, and also our interview with Katie Hebner, Michael Martinez, TSF, and many other great men and women of professional wrestling. So make sure you check us out. All you gotta do is go on YouTube, type in Ringside Society, and once you see that sweet dark blue and light blue yin yang sound, the blue flames around it, that's when you know it's us. So make sure to subscribe to all our videos because we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, and you don't want to miss a thing like Aerosmith in 1998. But with that being said, one more thing, we also have a Teespring store where we sell official Ringside Society merchandise. We have tank tops, we have hoodies for the fall season coming up, we have long shirts, t-shirts, and also coffee mugs. So make sure you check out our merchandise shop, cop some Ringside Society merchandise. All proceeds go back into keeping this show afloat. And we just want to thank you for tuning in tonight live. Really and truly appreciate it. Thank you very much. It really means a lot when y'all listen to us and watch us. Subscribe on being one of the best wrestling podcasts a wrestling fan should listen to. And to those of y'all that are going to listen to us later on, when you get a chance, thank you very much in advance. And those of y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away. Well, like myself and Gordon Corral, we're not going anywhere for a while. So with that being said, I just want to thank you by tuning into that. What am I saying? Normally, Rob is here to do this outro, but we just want to let everybody know that we here at Ringside Society are very well aware to everybody and their grandparents and their parents of a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. So I'm gonna say it right now: one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for HBCU graduated, educated, never ever duplicated ring announcer and owner of Let Wrestling Live, LWL, Nadiah Hunter, with the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. And we'll be back later on this week with another impressive episode. But until then, we just want y'all to do four favors for us. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.